Hello everyone, Christina Giordano here, the founder of S.O.U.L, your go-to resource for soulful entrepreneurship. And my philosophy is this: people can no longer be sold to, they must be sold to. This is selling with soul. This is marketing with integrity, where you no longer need to compromise your authenticity, your boundaries, your uniqueness, your wholeness. This is messaging in a way that actually reflects the transformation you provide, because it's your story, your transformation, and nobody can compete with that. This is manifesting in a way that honors your fullness, all of the pieces and parts of you that are meant to be divinely resourced. Join me every Wednesday to learn all of this and more. Let's jump right in. Today's episode is called Dear Soulpreneur, You're Not Stuck, You're Actually ... Now, in last week's episode of S.O.U.L, I talked about the contracted version versus the expansive version. And if you want some context for this episode, that episode might be really helpful in understanding what that means, what the contracted version is versus the expansive version, and why we want to step into the most expansive version of ourselves when we are selling with soul, when we are building soul-aligned businesses. Now, as a reminder, these episodes that are being filmed are just versions of the full episodes that are available on my podcast. So if you want to check those out and listen in instead of watch in, you can check them out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Now, as a reminder, the contracted version of you has a tendency to feel incredibly stuck, at least the contracted version of mine did. And I was incredibly stuck primarily because I was utilizing my energy reserves ineffectively. I was completely unbalanced and out of coherence with my mind, body, and spirit. And of course, when you're out of coherence, that creates dissonance. And so I'm going to take a moment to identify, I believe there are 4 examples of why you're not actually stuck, you're feeling this instead, or this is what's happening instead. So number 1, you're not stuck, you're expecting to drift into success. Now this is a tricky one because it kind of can make you, at least for me, it can make you feel a little foolish. Now, the manifestation matrix teaches you about being in the energetics of what you desire, and that can or may not be enough. Things will just happen for you. It's not necessarily the case, and at least for me, I would be too far into the energetics of something and not enough into the actual doing, into the actual moving of it. And I really clung on to that idea that if you can hold the frequency of what you desire, it'll just show up. It'll just kind of land in your lap. It'll just fall into place for you. And while that can happen to a certain degree, what needs to happen is kind of this sacred dance of where you make a move, the universe meets you. You make a move, the universe meets you. Then make you move, the universe meets you. You know, you get where I'm going here. And this is essentially because I want you to think about this. Have you ever seen someone drift to the top of the mountain? No, it doesn't happen. It can't happen. And that's essentially because what we usually do instead is we see people overcome something as they're climbing that mountain. We see entrepreneurs especially overcome their fears of visibility. They overcome their fears of rejection, criticism, all the things that show up for us in entrepreneurship. And because you don't simply drift to the top of the mountain, you have to kind of look at every step as a bit of a reach. So if you're not regularly feeling stretched or somewhat uncomfortable, you might be a little stagnant. Something to think about. Number 2, you're not stuck, you're afraid of getting visible. Now, I kind of just touched on the visibility wound that a lot of entrepreneurs experience, but I want you to think for a moment, more visibility equals more eyes on you. Does that freak you out? Because if it does, you might have a bit of a visibility wound. I definitely did. And mine was rooted in the fear of being unchosen. It was the fear of not being enough to be chosen. And so because that's the root of my visibility, I had to stop looking outside of myself for validation, for approval, and start going within. And as I started to kind of shed all of the beliefs and the limiting programming that was within me, I started to meet my essence. I started to meet who I truly am. And because your essence is already enough, I was then able to find safety there, and therefore visibility no longer became dangerous to me. And the funny thing is, when you move past this fear of visibility, when you step out of it, when you kind of allow yourself to embrace it and be more vulnerable, you access deeper truths about your work that aren't just the superficial things that everybody talks about. So like your modalities, your skill set, your credentials, those are just icing on the cake. What matters to your audience and to your future clients is the truth about your work, why it matters so much to you, and and that itself being real and relatable and rooted within you. Something I will always say, and have always said, is that your voice is the anchor to your work. And since your essence is basically the expression, the highest expression of your energy, you being authentic in that is not only going to be your highest frequency, your highest vibration, it's going to draw people into you like a magnet. Number 3, you're not stuck, you're just not believing in you. Ooh, this one can hurt. Now listen, one of the reasons I called sold is, one, because people can no longer be sold to, they must be sold to. But the thing is that if you really want to sell with soul, you need to be sold on you first. And yes, I'm spelling it S.O.U.L''D. Nobody is going to make you move more effectively and more purposefully than you. Nobody's going to make this business, this soul-aligned business happen but you. The only energy that can get in the way of your calling, the calling that was bestowed upon you by a higher power, is you. The contracted version of you is the only thing that can get in the way. That is why it's absolutely essential to step into the most expansive version of you so that you can see your calling through, so that you can bring it to life. Now think again, think for a moment of all of the times that you took a step back, that you diminished yourself, that you dimmed your light when things got hard, when things got scary, when things got uncertain. Every moment that happened, every moment that you chose to step back was a moment where you decided you weren't worth that extra step, where what you were doing wasn't worth another chance, where what you were doing wasn't worth sticking it out. But on the flip side, I want you to think about every moment that you decided to keep going, that you got yourself up again, that you decided to start again. That was you remembering your worth. That was you remembering that you came here for this specific reason. So know that there's a choice point there. And depending on what you choose is the most expansive version of you. Keep choosing to build momentum. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to keep taking massive steps and massive leaps. It just means you don't stop. That's all it means. Number 4, you're not stuck. The contracted version of you is still taking the lead. I mean, this is really what it boils down to. The contracted version of me loves to stay stuck. The contracted version of me loves to get distracted. I talked about this a lot in the last episode. And that's because entrepreneurship is intense and overwhelming and exhausting and scary. And it's also the greatest thing that I will ever do for myself, to be able to nourish and nurture my life for me and my boys, and to be able to experience life to the fullest, and to be able to make an impact with something that I know is what I am here to do. And the truth is that we don't know it all of the time, but the contracted version of us, where we are now, which is maybe a variation of the contracted version of yourself, is the prison. We're in it, and we have the keys to get ourselves out. And that's what's so mind-boggling about this whole journey, is we can set ourselves free by becoming the most expansive version of ourselves. Because I can tell you right now, living in the hell of not feeling like you have enough in order to be seen, not feeling like you are enough yourself, feeling like an imposter, feeling like a fraud, feeling like this is too hard, not being able to pay your bills, not being able to take care of your life, not being able to nourish and nurture your family and your kids and your whatever dreams you have for yourself, not being able to bring that to life. That's what hell is. That's what the prison is. And the second you decide that you are worth more than that, the second you decide to have a willing heart and take the leap, is the moment where things can shift, because you've become the most expansive version of you. You've realized that you're the one that can set yourself free. Now, in order to fully move past this contracted version of myself, I'm going to talk about the three main things that I had to do. And of course, if you want to kind of tune in to this again on my podcast, you can absolutely check out Spotify or Apple Podcasts to do that. But these are the three things. I'm going to briefly kind of go through them. Number one, I had to get familiar with my own energy. So this is more than baseline understanding of how my energy operates. This is me fully understanding what drains me, what depletes me, what fills me up, what I need to pour into myself, so that I can understand my energy reserves. Because when I can understand how my energy operates and functions and what I require based on what I stand for, based on what I value, etc., I know how to use it. I know how to be a good steward of it. I'm going to talk about stewardship in a minute. Number two, I had to start releasing and receiving energy appropriately. Now, by releasing, I'm talking about letting go, saying no. This isn't just identifying the things that drain you and deplete you, it's acting on them. It's saying no, it's letting go. It's leaving behind the people, places, and things that just are holding you back. It's forgiveness. A lot of the time it's forgiveness, because holding on to grief, resentment, anger, all those things, it's heavy. And by receiving, I mean taking in, calling in, being open to opportunities, possibilities, and next steps. This also means being able to receive more of me. So like, how much further can I get into the depth of who I am? Have I truly met the depth of myself? Have I truly met myself, possibly in my deepest grief? Have I met the truest version of me? Have I seen her or him? Do I know what they're like? Am I scared of them? Or can I fully embrace them? Can I accept them? Can I love them? Can I fully integrate them? That's how we become in integrity. That's literally the definition of integrity. It's fully integrating yourself to a place of wholeness. And then finally, number three, I had to master my energy. So when you can steward your energy in integrity, you can then be divinely resourced to move forward on your mission. I talk about becoming divinely resourced all the time. It's one of my favorite phrases, but it's more than just like the magical, mystical part of life. It's really you in a commitment with the divine, for lack of a better word, and choosing to commit to your higher calling alongside a higher power, and knowing that that sacred dance that I talked about at the beginning of the episode is happening. It's happening because you're making a move, you're letting the divine go, or intervene. You're making a move, you're letting the divine move. You're making a move, you're letting the divine move. That's like what this is. Now, this is the thing about stewardship, is I see it talked about a lot in the manifestation matrix, especially as it relates to like specific religions. I will never tell you to believe in a specific version of God or the universe or source, or I mean, even if the divine is love, that's higher power enough. I mean, that's essentially what God is. But this isn't about right or wrong or good or bad. This is about free. How free are you from the BS of the world that makes you think that your worth is dependent on anything but your own heart? Because that's really what your essence is. Your essence is free. So something to keep in mind. And as you honor your essence, which by the way is your higher self, as you honor your higher self, you honor your higher self, not anyone else's. As you honor your higher self and be obedient to that version of you, again, stripping obedience from religion and whatnot. Once you're being obedient to that version of you, that's how you close the gap. That's how you close the gap between the contracted version of you to the most expansive one. And it's honoring that version of you, being obedient to that version of you. And I'm not talking about like being a military commander. This is about balance. Your higher self wants to play. Your higher self wants to experience pleasure. It's so much more than just like doing. It's actually like more often than not a lot less and with more precision. Now, before I end this, I wanted to talk about an upcoming workshop I have that features, that gives you a taste of the souled approach. And in it, we're going to do 3 things. The first, I'm going to talk about all the things that are keeping you stuck right now, and it's a lot more than what I'm covering here. And trust me, you're going to resonate with at least one of them. Number 2, we're going to talk about the way through via the souled approach. I'm going to talk about why the souled approach is kind of the new paradigm of marketing and manifesting. And kind of as a little hint, it's not my way, it's your way. The souled approach literally gives you your way to success. And finally, number 3, you get a taste of the souled approach featuring the D.E.B.I.T method, the C.R.E.D.I.T method, and the L.I.F.E method. Now, I'm the queen of acronyms, and each of these allows you to understand your energy, understand your desired reality, so that you can then step into it. You'll walk away from this experience feeling more anchored into your calling, feeling more connected to the essence that is you, and feeling more empowered to make a next step with a marketing and manifesting strategy that actually not only feels good, but feels right for you, because it finally feels possible for you. You're no longer going to rely on the old paradigm of marketing and manifesting. You're going to bring it back to your essence. You're going to bring it back to you. So I hope to see you there. If you're interested in that workshop, head to the link. I believe it's in this video, but if not, it's on my website, ChristinaGiordano.com, the Get Guidance page. It's the $22 workshop. It's an hour long. It's on Zoom. I hope to see you there. And until next time, be well and take care.